November 22, 2022. The thin lunar crescent is visible in the east-southeast before daybreak. During the night, Jupiter's Great Red Spot is visible in the planet's southern hemisphere. Chart caption, 2022, November 22. Mars is in the western sky before sunup. By Jeffrey L. Hunt. Chicago, Illinois, sunrise, 6:49 a.m. CDT, sunset, 4:25 p.m. CDT. Check local sources for sunrise and sunset times for your location. The Great Red Spot's transit times, when it is in the center of the planet in the southern hemisphere, 7:01 UT, 16:56 UT, November 23, 2:52 UT. Convert the time to your time zone. In the US, subtract 5 hours for EST, 6 hours for CST, and so on. Use a telescope to see the spot. Mars Watch. Mars is closest at 8:16 p.m. CST on November 30, 2:16 UT, December 1. The distance is 0.544 astronomical unit, also known as an AU, where 1 AU is about 93 million miles. Before sunrise, the planet is 0.552 astronomical units away. This evening, about 4 hours after sundown, the separation is 0.550 astronomical units. Here is today's planet forecast. Morning sky. An hour before sunup, bright Mars, more visually intense than Sirius, is 1/3 of the way up in the west. Two other bright reddish stars, Betelgeuse and Aldebaran, are nearby, although the red planet is the highest and the brightest. The planet is retrograding in front of Taurus, below, west, of an imaginary line that connects the horns, Elnath and Zeta Tauri. The planet is moving faster after it began the retrograde illusion on October 30. As noted above, Mars is closest to Earth on the 30th and at opposition, Earth between the planet and the Sun, on December 7. Mars is not closest on opposition night because it is moving toward its farthest point, aphelion. Earth and Mars are closest 8 nights before opposition. Chart caption, 2022, November 22, 45 minutes before sunrise, the thin waning crescent is in the east-southeast near Zuban el-Janubi. Use a binocular. 15 minutes later, a whisker-thin moon, 3% illuminated, is less than 10 degrees up in the east-southeast. The new moon phase occurs tomorrow at 4:57 p.m. CST. This morning the crescent is over 15 degrees to the lower left of Spica and 3.7 degrees to the upper right of Zuban el-Janubi, the Scorpion's northern claw. The southern claw, Zuban Shamali, is 9.2 degrees to the left of its pair. The claws are part of today's constellation Libra, but they retain their original names to indicate that they were once part of the celestial Scorpion. This is a little early to be calling for their first appearance without optical aid. Since Zuban el-Janubi is within the same binocular field of view with this morning's crescent, find a clear horizon and look for them. The Scorpion slowly crawls across the horizon during the next several weeks. The entire constellation with the classic pincers does not fully appear before sunrise until late February. Antares, the constellation's brightest star, sets less than 10 minutes after the Sun this evening. It is at its solar conjunction on December 1, making its first morning appearance, heliacal rising, near the winter solstice. At this hour look for Vega low in the northeast. It continues to appear in the western sky after sundown and makes its first morning appearance during late November each year. Evening sky. Chart caption, 2022, November 22, Jupiter and Saturn are visible after sundown. Venus and Mercury are slowly entering the evening sky, but they are setting during bright twilight. Speedy Mercury passes 1.3 degrees to the lower left of Venus today, but they are immersed in bright twilight and not visible easily with conventional practices. The closest planet to the Sun is far south, setting only 19 minutes after the Sun and 5 minutes before Venus. Saturn and bright Jupiter are easy to find after sundown. The ringed wonder is 1/3 of the way up in the southern sky, slightly west of the south cardinal point. It is slowly moving eastward compared to two stars in eastern Capricornus, Deneb al-Jidi and Nashira. Use a binocular to see the stars easier. Jupiter is that bright star in the southeast as night falls. Even though it's the largest planet, the Jovian giant appears as a bright star to the unaided eye. Its retrograde ends in 2 nights, in front of a dim Pisces star field. The star Deneb Kaitos is below Jupiter, about halfway to the horizon. The star dots the tail of the sea monster, Cetus. Fomalhaut, meaning the mouth of the southern fish, above the horizon in the south-southeast, is about half Saturn's height above the horizon. Chart caption, 2022, November 22, Jupiter and dim Neptune are in the same binocular field of view. Before Jupiter moves too far eastward, after it resumes his normal eastward motion, Look for Neptune. They are in the same binocular field of view. Neptune is dim, but make the observation during the next week before the moon's phase brightens and washes out Neptune. Jupiter reverses its direction on the 24th and slowly begins to move away from Neptune. Chart caption, 2022, November 22nd. Mars is in the east-northeast during the evening. Mars rises an hour after sundown. By 3.5 hours after sundown, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are placed along the ecliptic. Jupiter is over halfway up in the south, while Saturn about 20 degrees up in the southwest. Mars is the same height above the horizon in the east-northeast. Photo caption, the Great Red Spot from NASA's Voyager 1 in 1979. At 8:52 p.m. CST, Jupiter is in the south-southwest in Chicago. At this time the planet's Great Red Spot is in the center of the planet in the southern hemisphere. A telescope is needed to see this detail in the Jovian atmosphere. By tomorrow morning, Mars is the lone bright planet in the west before sunup.